Good morning. Welcome to Hannah's Knit Cottage. My name is Hannah. I'm a music teacher in Mississippi and I love to craft. I mainly knit, but I also crochet, cross stitch, and quilt. Today is episode 1. It's Monday, January 15th. So if you're in the US, we're off school for the Martin Luther King Jr. holiday. It is his birthday that we acknowledge every year. So today my goal is to just go through my 2024 knitting plans, and that also includes some of my current whips that carried over from 2023. So what I decided to do is take a page out of Jessie Marie Does Stuff's book. She is a cross stitcher, but every year she does what's called Whip Go. So she creates a bingo board with 25 squares, and in each of the 25 squares she places a different whip. WIP stands for work in progress. So something she had carried over that she wants to continue to get work on. Now her cross stitch projects are like thousands and thousands and thousands of stitches. So she may not finish them in the year, but she gets progress on them. For me, my goal was to make a bingo board of all of my current whips and all the projects that I have yarn for but have yet to start. I realized that I was buying new sock yarn and just starting new pairs of socks instead of looking at my sweater quantities of yarn or some of my more specific projects, and they would get neglected, and they've been neglected for 6 months to a year just because I got distracted by all the shiny things that I'm sure we all do. So I hope you have a cup of tea or something with you. It's going to be a little bit of a long one as I go through everything, but I feel like it's a good starting off point, so then any episode after that I can update you on my progress on my Whip Go board. Today I currently have a blood orange and cinnamon herbal tea. It's very good. So get a sip of your favorite beverage of choice and we're going to dive in. All right, so first I'm going to show the bingo board. I literally just went into a bingo card generator, put it on my whips, and then what I did was I randomized the card because I didn't want to have anything placed in a specific order. Jessie Marie Does Stuff, I'll link her channel and the Instagram account below that does Whip Go. She draws a number, so it's random. I'm not picking anything, which I kind of like it being taken out of my hands, because obviously when it was in Hannah's hands, I just knit all the socks, which didn't always work. So I'm calling this the Stash Down 2024. I have all of these projects kitted up. Hopefully this does not blow out on the screen too much, but I have a bingo board of 25 projects. As you can see, the twist and turn shawl was called for square number 9, and the Mayflower socks were called for card, it was square number 22, I believe. So I hope this isn't backwards for you. If it's backwards for you, I'll reflip it. I'm sorry. But I have 25 projects on here, so we're gonna go down every project. If it's started, I will show you my progress on the current project. If it's not started, I'll show you what yarn I have and what my plans are for making it. So square number 1 is the Stardew Valley socks autumn season. So Stardew Valley, Oakwood Knits put out there's 25 squares in the bingo board. Oakwood Knits put out 4 sock patterns, each representing a season in Stardew Valley. And Stardew Valley is one of my favorite games, so as soon as this pattern released, I saw it in testing, I was like, I have to do this. I bought all the yarn from Knit Picks before they even made the kit. So if you go to Knit Picks site, you can get its palette is the yarn that the pattern originally calls for, and that's 100% merino wool. They also have created stroll kits, and stroll I believe is a 75% merino blend, 25% nylon. So some people prefer that just because they want the nylon for the socks. But I ordered the palette yarn before they even made the kits. I went through and like picked all the colors individually, had it all laid out, just have yet to start it. I do not have the yarn with me because all 4 Stardew Valley socks call for like 38 colors, I believe. So I do not have room on this table for 38 colors of yarn, but I'll show you the pretty socks. So, and mine will look exactly like this because I have the exact same colors. So these are gonna be the Stardew Valley autumn socks. I'm obsessed with all 4 of these. I think a lot of my holdup in starting these was that I'm beginning in color work. Last year was my first year that I successfully did color work. And so I tried to do a couple of color work socks before and they didn't fit. They were either way too loose that I knew they'd be floppy in my shoes, and nobody likes a floppy sock, or they were too tight and I couldn't get them on my foot. So I feel like my goal last year was to perfect my color work technique, and I feel like I finally achieved that. So I'm in a place where I can sit down and make these socks and enjoy them and wear them and love them. So you're gonna see several colorwork sock patterns on my bingo board. So that's square number 1. Square number 2 is the Wellerman shawl. The Wellerman shawl is by Caitlin Hunter. It calls for an Aran weight yarn, and they have a small size and a large size. Let me pull up the picture. So you can see the dark gray is going to be the small size, and the light gray is going to be the large size, or it's like more of a cream, I guess. So the larger size is what I have the yarn kitted up for. So here it is. And I'll link all these patterns below in case any of you want to make these patterns. Let me see, I'm gonna get closer so you can actually see the detail. I love the cable work on this shawl. It's gorgeous. And I feel like I'm beginning in cables, but I feel much more confident in cable work than I do in color work. So I feel like I'm not worried about making it. I just know it's going to be a beast. I've purchased the pattern, and the pattern comes in just charts, which is great. I need practice reading charts, but it's gonna be a process. So I have the Knit Picks Upcycle Alpaca Blend. It's a worsted weight yarn. Let's see here. This color is called Pistachio. It's 219 yards to 100 grams. Let's see them. I'm trying to find the fiber content here. I believe 33% alpaca, 34% wool, and 33% acrylic. I love this yarn. It's super soft and squishy. I'm excited to work with it. I'll let you know how I feel about it when I work with it. It's a really great affordable alpaca. So you can get that soft squishiness. You're still getting, I mean, 2/3 of the yarn is made out of wool. So you're still getting that feel of wool, but you have just enough acrylic in there to keep the price point down, which I think is awesome. So that is the Wellerman shawl. That's square number 2. Square number 3 is actually a current whip. I have it listed as Cinderella socks on my board, but it's actually the Bibbidi Bobbidi Boo socks by Kay Jones of the Bakery Bears. I'm obsessed with these socks. I love them so much, which is half of why they're already started. So that is the socks. I love the lace work down the sock and then the cuff. It really, I mean, what I've knit on it so far, it really isn't, it's not a hard pattern at all. About 20 rows in, I was able to memorize it, and it's been fun. So I actually currently have these going. Let me grab the socks so you can see. So my district does a Broadway musical every year for the past couple years, and I'm involved in that project. So every year I've been making socks to match the show that we do. So the first year we did Beauty and the Beast, and I grabbed the Cozy Knitters Beauty and the Beast self-striping. Last year we did Little Mermaid, so I grabbed the Cozy Knitters self-striping Little Mermaid. But this year I decided we're doing Cinderella, the Rodgers and Hammerstein Cinderella. So I decided I wanted to, found this yarn in my local yarn store, and so I decided I wanted to do a pattern sock. And then I found the Bibbidi Bobbidi Boo socks, and like, it's a match made in heaven. So this is actually from my local yarn store, Wool Market Fibers. This is their yarn. If you can see, it's kind of hard. Let me see, cover my face so you can see. This is the lace pattern. It's gorgeous. And you can see that blue sparkle. This is called Blue Platinum. This is their own dyed yarn. So Wool Market Fibers Stellina sock yarn in Blue Platinum. And then this is a silver mini. I don't believe the mini has a name. Oh, the definitional neck cuff. I am obsessed. So I actually this is the first sock. I just put in my mark. I have to cover my face so it'll focus. I just put in my mark for the Afterthought heel. And I'm cranking on this sock. So this, the other half of the reason this got started, I want these done for the show, but also when I go, we have a knitting group, and I go once a week to our knitting group at Wool Market Fibers. So I like to bring something in there that I purchased from the store, because that's just good yarn etiquette. So this is my knit group knitting project for now. So I think, what square are we on? Cinderella was square number 3. Whew, 10 minutes in, we're on square number 3, y'all. All right, okay, next project is square number 4 is half and half triangles wrap, and it says pickle green on mine because I have 2 half and half triangles wraps that I would like to complete. One of them is for me and one of them is for somebody else. So this one is for somebody else. I had a lady that I know, good friend of mine at my church. She said, I really want you to make me something, but she is very, very sensitive to natural fibers. So I brought a whole bunch of yarns in for her to feel and to see what she thought. And she said, I love this color. And that this yarn really worked well for her. So we went with it and I bought it. Bought her a quantity to have her half and half triangles wrap. And I don't have the other color with me, but the first half of the half and half triangles wrap is called, I believe, Dill Pickle. This is Pearl Soho's Linen Quill. It's a fingering weight yarn, and I'll pull the pattern in just a second, but you can see it's just garter stitch. You just make a big triangle and then you make another big triangle and it folds up on itself and it makes a big old pretty shawl. So this will actually, there's a smaller version and a larger version. I'm doing the smaller version for her. She is pretty petite, so I feel like it'll fit her just fine. So it calls for 4 skeins of fingering weight yarn. You pick 2 in one color and 2 in another color. You can also do it striping if you want. So if you had linen quill stripes or just fingering weight, linen quill scraps or fingering weight scraps, you could use that and make some stripes. So it'll go with a light gray, that dill pickle green, but she was obsessed with it. So I was like, all right. She doesn't know that's what she's getting, but that's what she's getting. So this is a really good picture of it. This is the half and half triangles wrap by Pearl Soho. And I believe the next square is also this wrap. So we're kind of getting a 2 for 1 here. And if you see, one half is one color and the other half is another color. The top is the larger size, the bottom is the smaller size. So the dill pickle half and half wrap is going to be for her. But then the second, square number 5, right next door, I don't know how that happened, but square number 5 next door is also a half and half triangles wrap, and it's for me, and I am making the large size for myself because I don't like making shawls, but this one isn't bad because it's just knitting back and forth. It's fine. But I like a blanket, like a shawl that's practically a blanket that you just wrap up in and you curl up in. It's perfect. So my 2 colors, I became obsessed, but I ordered this yarn, I think literally a year ago. So it's been sitting for a year and I've been dying to cast it on and it just hasn't happened yet. The colors here, I have Vintage Celadon. This is showing up a little more gray on the camera, but it's pretty close to color. And then the other color, I believe it is, yes, Sweet Potato. So this is showing up true to color on camera. It will stop focusing on my face so you can see the pretty yarn. So these 2 together, I'm very excited about. This is not my normal wheelhouse of color. Let's see if this will go a little better. This is so not my normal wheelhouse of color at all, but I'm excited to have it. It's good to jump out of the box. So linen quill is 50% fine Highland wool, 35% alpaca, and 15% linen. I'm really excited. It's super soft. It's been pretty good to work with. It's been a little splitty, but not bad. I think it's just the way it's plied with the linen. Certainly not anything I would not knit with. It's wonderful. I love it. And you'll see more linen quill coming up. All right, so we finished the first row. You know what? We're going to take a pause. I'm going to grab the yarn for row number 2 and I'll be right back. All right, hello. I'm back for row 2. Had to go put away all the yarn and grab more yarn. So first up is the Muscadine. This is a sweater pattern. I'm being very ambitious here with like 7 sweaters and like 4 or 5 shawls on this bingo board, but we're here. So we're going to see how much we get done. This is actually part of a magazine. The Muscadine sweater is from the Making Stories magazine, issue 10, but I saw this sweater and I was obsessed. I had to. It's this plain stockinette sweater, but if you look, that detail down the sleeves is just stunning. Let's see if I can get a good picture. You can really see. It's gorgeous. It's a raglan, I believe, top down sweater. I have not purchased this pattern yet. I always kind of hold off purchasing patterns for stuff like this because sometimes by the time it's time to knit it, I might want something else. So if I decide I want a different sweater, I'll still use this yarn when I hit this bingo square, but I will knit a sweater. The plan for right now, though, is the Muscadine. It's so gorgeous. I can't see myself not doing it. So I actually, Polka Dot Creek is a yarn store based in Airdrie, Alberta, Canada, but they have a really good online store. They do a sweater weather sale every September where you can get your own custom dye sweater quantities of yarn. So I ordered a couple sweater quantities from them this year because I love their yarn and it really always holds up well. I love it. So this is in their classic DK. This is avocado and you can see it's a really beautiful dark green. So I think with the cables and stuff, this will be the perfect like fall and winter sweater to wear. Let me see if I can get the label to focus so you can see. Polka Dot Creek and then the classic DK avocado. So I have enough to make the full Muscadine. in that. So that's square number 6. Square number 7 is also a sweater, and it's also polka dot creek yarn. This is another raglan. It's a fingering weight top-down raglan though. This is called the Carlisle. Let's see if it'll focus here. It's a little hard to tell on this one, but if you look, there's just like a rib going down the sweater. I believe it's a broken rib. I've only been knitting for about 3.5 years now, so I'm still learning how to like just look at something and know what it is. But this is Carlisle Raglan. It's by Maddie Moe. And again, I'll link all these down below just so you can find them if you want them. Fingering weight, top-down raglan. And I got another sweater quantity from Polka Dot Creek, and I got it in the color Lobster Bisque. This was the first color I picked out. Let's see if it'll focus on. Nope. All right, there we go. All right, this is Lobster Bisque, and it's just like the perfect dusty pink. If you want to talk about like what color is typically my color, this is it. This is one of my favorite colors. So that is square number 7, the Carlisle Raglan. Square number 8 is the coloring book tee. And I said there was going to be more linen quill, and there's more linen quill. So the reason my friend at church loved the dill pickle, or sorry, fresh pickle. It's fresh pickle. The reason she loved that yarn is because I already had it for the coloring book tee. Square number 8 is coloring book tee. I've made one of these last year, and it was really a great knit. It fits well. It's worn well. I love wearing it. I'm excited to make another one. And it's just a good, I think, just basic vanilla sweater that you can modify and do so much with. So this is the coloring book tee by Amy Scher. So she has the coloring book tee, which is fingering weight. Would help if I pulled up the pattern. You can do it striped or you can do it plain. So she has that one striped, but she also has some versions where it's plain and you just do a little bit of pop of color at the cuff. I love this sweater. I'm obsessed. It's a great vanilla sweater, great beginner sweater. It was my first sweater and I loved it. So square number 8, coloring book tee by Amy Scher in Fresh Pickle. And that's the fingering weight version. The coloring book raglan is her DK weight version if you're interested in that. Square number 9 is my most long languishing whip. I started this in October of 2022 when Stephen West did his mystery shawl knit along. So this is the twist and turn. So if you don't want to be spoiled, I know it's like 2 years later, but if you don't want to be spoiled, look away. I'm about to show the pattern. Last warning, here it is. This is the twist and turn shawl by Stephen West. I ordered a kit from Stephen and Penelope. I was super pumped to cast it on. I had done shawlography. I actually purchased shawlography in July of that year. I didn't do it with everybody else in the mystery make along because I was still too new of a knitter. I didn't feel confident enough. But I had started shawlography in July of 2022, was obsessed, loved it. I was ready for the next Stephen West make along. So I jump in to Twist and Turns. We had fall break that weekend. I was like, great, I'm going to be caught up. I'm going to stay up with Clue 1. It's going to be fantastic. And then Clue 1 took like 30 hours of knitting. And everybody gassed out on that pattern. Not everybody, that's a generalization, but I got overwhelmed and just exhausted. I was trying, but it was like you had to do a lot of repeats. Let me pull up the shawl. I have it. This is in a Stolen Minutes bag. I believe I showed one other bag on here. It was a Stolen Minutes bag. I'm sorry if I didn't mention that. Still learning, but I purchased this kit. This is the Latte Lemonade kit from Stephen and Penelope, and there's like 3 sets of needles on this thing right now. She's a beast. I'll say that. I love it. I really love the look. I don't know that I will knit this ever again. Now, shawlography, I could see myself knitting shawlography again and again because there's so much you can do with the colors, and I really would love to take some of the little pieces in the pattern and use that to make my own things. I love shawlography. It was great. Let me move my cup so I don't get tea on my shawl. I have a little stitch marker. It's an apple cider stitch marker by Charmed and Dangerous. This was a pull for January. So last week I went from here all the way up and I started, this is section 4 I'm on. Yeah, I'm only on section 4. I started this in October of 2022 and we're on section 4. Now this thing has sat in timeout for a long time, but whew, she's a beast. So it's 3-color shawl. It's the pink is showing up a little more brown than what it is. The pink is called Pink Lemonade. This is my main color. My contrast color is called Latte. And then this accent color, as it's called in the pattern, is Malachite. And these are all by Chink Fibers. I don't know. This shawl has been, you can see, I mean, it's just, she's a beast. So this is where we're at. I'm not showing this very well. I'm trying. It's just, she's a beast. I will try to insert a picture of this laying flat so you can see it better. It's just this section one. I think it's amazing. I love the little loop thing that he has you do, and it looks like braids. You got the chevrons in there. But it's a lot. It's a lot of knitting. I think I timed myself out and I was like around 27-ish hours that it took me to knit this. That's just section one, and there's 10 sections to this shawl. So the fact that this was a pull for January, I don't know if it's fate or what. We'll see. We'll see how much gets done. I have not decided if the odds of me finishing this at the end of January are slim to none. I really doubt it. So I'm kind of now trying to figure out, okay, let's say I don't finish at the end of January, like I probably won't. Do I let this sit aside for the rest of the year and go work on other things? Do I say I finish up the things that I pull, like if I finish up the next 2 bingo squares for next month? Do I come back and keep working on this until it's complete? Or do I just let it sit until next year? Or do I say I can't start anything else until I finish this? That's the debate I'm having. I think I've about decided if I pull another shawl, I won't work on that shawl until I finish this one. If I pull socks, I feel like I'm going to want to work on the socks. The socks are just so much more of a portable pattern. This, obviously, as you see me trying to shove it in the bag, is not a portable project at all in its current state, and I don't think it will be for the rest of its making life. So I don't know. I don't know about this one. I know there's probably a lot of people who will say frog it. I'm not frogging it. There's no chance of me frogging this. I've probably put in 50 hours into this shawl. So after literally putting in over an entire work week into this shawl, it's happening. It's happening now. It's just a matter of when it's going to happen. And I would love to reclaim this bag because I got this bag brand new for this shawl. I would love for something else to come live in it. So we'll see. I don't know. We'll see. Twists and Turns by Stephen West. I think that's square number 9. And that was a January pull. All right, square number 10. The Nutcracker socks. This is actually a whip from December of 2023. So I'm pumped about these. This is the only one you cannot find on Ravelry because it is a Bakery Bears Patreon exclusive. So I'm only going to show the picture of the pattern. I'm not going to show any of the pattern because I do have the pattern pulled up. That's the only way you can see it. I do have it in a cute little Stitching Plaza bag. If you look, this is a Pride and Prejudice bag. If I can get it to focus. You can see Jane and Mr. Bingley and Mr. Darcy and Elizabeth. I love Pride and Prejudice, and it just felt right. Because I know Kay of the Bakery Bears loves Pride and Prejudice, so it just felt like it belonged in that bag. This is the Nutcracker socks. This was their Advent pattern for last year, and I started it last December with Advent. And I, as usual, bit off more than I could chew. So I didn't finish it in December. I prioritized finishing my Advent socks for my mom and I. I did the Cozy Knitter self-striping, 24 stripe Advent. So I prioritized that, and that meant that these didn't get done. Oops. So I did mine a little bit different. I did, instead of a gold, I did a white. I just like that traditional Christmas color, and I have yarn going everywhere. Whoops. So these have been sitting since December, the end of December last year. And I was racing after Christmas happened to finish these. I really wanted them done by January 1st, and it just didn't happen. And I decided not to stress it, that it is what it is. They'll get done when they get done, and they'll be loved and worn when they get done. I like these. I think I would like them in gold instead of white much more. But my mom has really, she loves these socks, so these will be for her when they're done. So if you look, I'm almost done with sock number 1. Like I have one section left and then the toe, and that's it for sock number 1. There's your heel flap and gusset. This is only the second heel flap and gusset I've ever done. I've always done short row heels, and right now I'm loving the afterthought heel life. So let me see if you can catch. There's a lot of really pretty detail. If you look, if it will focus, you can see the Christmas tree there. I'm gonna try and get it to focus on the sock and not me. There's the Christmas trees you can see in the stripes, and that's supposed to be like the clashing of swords. Let me grab this side. This, whoop, it'll focus on the sock and not me. You see those little eyelets? That's like the waltz of the flowers. This is the sugar plum fairy, the little butterfly stitches. It's a beautiful sock. It's not hard to follow. I think if I were going to knit this though, she does give you some good tips in their Advent. They do an Advent video series every year, so I would highly recommend watching the Advent series as you're making this, just for like the tips in the cuff. She gave a lot of good examples. I forgot to show the cuff. The cuff is probably my favorite part. It's supposed to be like the curtain. I'm obsessed. I will probably reuse this cuff pattern at some point because I love it. So that is the Nutcracker socks, square number 10. Now I'm gonna go reset. I'll see you in just a minute. I'm gonna grab all the stuff for row number 3. All right, welcome back. I think I've laid out all the yarn for the other 3 rows. We'll see here. There's a lot. There's yarn everywhere, y'all. All right, first up is the Ponderosa sweater. This is a design by Wool & Pine. I got this sweater quantity last year. I saw this cabled sweater. Apparently I'm in the mood to knit a cabled sweater, and I just haven't started it yet. But this is the Ponderosa sweater by Wool & Pine. I'm actually gonna show this red version because this is probably gonna look very close to mine. I saw this red. I love red. I don't use a lot of red. I tend to use a lot of maroon. But I'm gonna go out of my zone. I guess this is almost maroon, but it's close. I feel like it's more red than maroon. That is showing up significantly darker on camera than what it actually is. This is Holzgarn, 100% wool. This is called Venetian. Super dark red. I almost think of like a cranberry red. That's what this is. So this is the Ponderosa sweater by Wool & Pine. That is square number 11 of 15. Square number 12 is going to be Stardew Valley socks again. I'm not pulling out all the yarn because 38 colors is a lot. I really hate I didn't get to these last year. I think that's part of my guilt why I put them on the board. They've been doing make-alongs. Oakwood Knits has been doing make-alongs with Nerdy Knits with all the seasons. They started last spring, and now they're on the last one, which is winter, and I hate that I've missed them all now. But it is what it is. I'll knit at my own pace and get them done. But have the kit, so mine will turn out just the same as what these have in the picture. This is Stardew Valley Spring. Again, linked below. I mean, this looks just like the game. I'm impressed with how much she really captured the spirit of the game in these socks. I love it. All right, that is square number 12. Number 13 is the Snowdrift Mittens. It's another pattern by Wool & Pine. I've noticed I tend to be mainly a sock knitter, which has been great when I'm, a teacher. I'm on morning duty. In the mornings, I wear my hand knit socks and I wrap my shawl and put my coat over it and kind of keep myself bundled up, and it's great. I don't have a lot of mittens and hats. I don't live in an area where it gets super, super cold very often, but it is humid here. So it means that it's damp. And if you've never been in a damp cold, it really cuts through the bone. So having all those wool hats, scarves, mittens, socks, it really does come into play when you're out in the cold letting children, and then they, cars splash water, things like that. It gets kind of cold. So I do have a matching hat to go with this. They don't have a Snowdrift hat, but they do have the Ponderosa hat, so I figured they'd be a good set together. And so I got matching yarn so they would look, like matching mittens and hat. So this is the Snowdrift Mittens. Again, apparently Hannah had something for cables and just hasn't done it yet. So that's the Snowdrift Mittens by Wool & Pine. And then this is Westwool Tandem. It's a DK weight yarn. This is in the colorway French Gray. I know Westwool just redid their colorways. This is showing up very true to, well, it's slightly darker on camera, but it's pretty close to color. This is, I believe, 100% wool. Yep, sorry. 10% textile, 90% Falkland merino, so 90% wool. But this will be used for the snowdrift mittens. Get myself warm on morning duty. The square number 12. Nope, 13. We're halfway through, y'all. I think we're gonna go faster from here on out though. All right, number 14 is another coloring book tee. Because again, I'm obsessed with this pattern. Would gladly make it again and again. I'm gonna show the short sleeve version because mine will probably turn out similar to this. I might make it long sleeve, but the little pop of color at the cuff is going to be what I do. This was the third sweater quantity I bought during the Polka Dot Creek sweater weather sale last year. This is the colorway Heartbreaker. And if you go online on their website right now, they have Heartbreaker sock sets, and it's taken all that I have to not buy one because, oh my goodness, is that not gorgeous? The blacks and the pinks and the grays. This is my colors. And then I have this for my pop of color. And this is Pink Popsicle. And I ordered these together. I'm pumped. This is probably one of my makes that I'm most excited for on this whole bingo board. So we'll see when it gets pulled. If it got pulled in February, Heartbreaker for Valentine's Day, like that's perfect. Here's hoping that that happens. All right, let's see here, 14, no, we're up to 15. We're all at the end of row 3. 15, this is the Felix cardigan. So the Felix cardigan, I was very kindly gifted a sweater quantity of yarn for Christmas from my good knitting friend Cher. And so Cher and I are gonna knit a cardigan together, and I'm gonna use this quantity of yarn that she got for me so kindly. This is Noro worsted weight. It says it's 100 grams, 280 meters, 75% wool, 10% cotton, 8% viscose, and 7% silk. I love this. I have socks that are kind of similarly colored to this. And when I first made the socks, I didn't think I would like it, but I do. I love it. It's brown, got little flecks of cream and red in it. It's perfect. So what I'm going to make with this is a Felix cardigan. Again, I'm a teacher. It gets cold. My school is kind of older. The building itself is older. So it means that the classrooms have been drywalled and stuff on the inside. So we have central heat and air in all the classrooms so we can stay warm. But especially when the doors are open and like arrival and dismissal every day, the hallways can get really cold. You've got those tile floors, you've got brick walls. It gets really cold in the hallway. So having a little cardigan I can throw on if I have to run to a different classroom or go somewhere. And then when I get back in my own classroom, I can take it off. It's perfect. So I'm gonna make the Felix cardigan. It's by Amy Christoffers, who is Savory Knitting on Instagram. She has recently released the pressed flowers. There's a pullover, there's a hat, there's socks, there's a cardigan. I made the pressed flowers shawl. Love the pattern, it was great. So I'm super pumped to make this. If you pay attention to this, you can see it in that picture. There's actually a little detail in the sleeve. If I can get my finger there, right there. Little eyelet detail, and it's perfect. Just enough little detail to make it sparkle, but not so much that it's difficult to knit. That's my kind of pattern. All right, so that's square number 15. That is the Felix cardigan. This is in a bag by Sassy Sacks by Yadi. It's Y-A-D-I, so Yadi, I think is how you'd say that. I love this bag. I use it all the time. This is the bag that my shawlography lived in when I first made it. Love this bag. I love all the bags I get from her. She's awesome. All right, square number 16. This yarn is like deep in my stash somewhere. I know it's there. I think it got thrown in with the scraps because I tried to knit these socks and then I had to frog them because they didn't fit. This is the April Shower Socks by Twin Stitches Designs. I have the Moonglow Yarn Co. set just like that's shown in the picture, so my socks will look identical to what's in the picture. Or should theoretically, we'll see. I tried to make these socks twice. It did not fit either time, and I was very disappointed. I was desperate to make these socks, and it just didn't happen. So I will be very grateful to sit down and finally make these and wear them. I will be so thrilled. So that's square number 16. Square number 17 is the Ponderosa hat. Ponderosa hat, again, I'm using this flexible tandem, the same as the Snowdrift Mittens. Another wool and pie design, so I think they'll go good together and they'll be a matching set. They'll be in the same wool, same designer. And it will match my Ponderosa sweater too. Again, I must be on a cables kick and not know it. Cables are not my favorite thing to knit, but I love the look of them. So maybe I'll get faster at cables. We'll see. That's square number 18, I believe. No, that's square number 17. Sorry. So that's the Ponderosa hat, square number 17. Square number 18 and 19 go together, so I'm gonna bring them both out together. They're both gonna be plain vanilla socks. You're like, but wait, Hannah, I thought these were all patterns that you had yarn for. Yes, these are the exceptions because these are for specific people and patterns that have been, or yarns that have been on hold for specific people that I just have yet to do because, again, I get distracted by the shiny new things. So I talked to my boyfriend and I was like, would you wear hand knit socks? And he's like, well, maybe. And then I showed him this yarn and he's like, yeah, I'd wear that. Okay, so we'll see. We'll see if he likes hand knit socks. But Polka Dot Creek, again, I love their self-striping. If you're looking to try a good self-striping yarn, Polka Dot Creek is where it's at, really. So this is called Superhero Bruce, but it's Batman. This is Batman. So he said he would wear these, so I'm gonna see. But then I went to my local yarn store and they had this and I was like, oh my goodness, I have to. It's the Joker. It's the Joker. Like, how could you not have Batman and the Joker? And he could have 2 pairs of socks. And this is in their platinum sock. This is a 75% merino, 25% nylon. And they walked in and needed names. I was like, y'all, that's the Joker. This is the Joker, hands down. And then it immediately went home with me. Because how could you not? So this is also the Polka Dot Creek's sock set is 75% wool, 25% nylon, and the Joker again. So we'll see. Of course, then he looked at me and said, well, what if I wore one Batman sock and one Joker sock? And I said, no, there's no way. So we'll see. I know a couple other men who are similar foot size to him. So if he ends up not liking hand knit socks, I know that they're going to have a home. I'm not worried about that. And there's enough of the Joker yarn. I wouldn't mind a pair of Joker socks. I'm just saying. So we'll see. So that squares number 17. Nope, that squares number 18 and 19. All right, we're on to square number 20 out of 25. We're almost there, y'all. And if you've stuck around this long, thank you. Bless you for watching this. I know it's a lot. So square number 20 is Stardew Valley socks again, but winter. It says winter, the wind can be still. And the names are based off of the tracks on the Stardew Valley soundtrack. Again, mine are kitted up with the exact same yarn that Oakwood Knits used. So mine will look identical to hers. All 4 of these patterns, the Stardew Valley patterns, are all by Oakwood Knits on Ravelry. She's also Oakwood Knits on Instagram. She made some Zelda socks as well, and they look really cool, but my plate's full enough, so we're gonna stick to Stardew Valley and then see about Zelda. All right, we're on to square number 21. Last row, y'all. We're here. Square number 21. This bag, I believe this is a Barley Pearls bag. I mean, I saw this and I was like, ooh, I'm interested. And then I saw the inside and I was like, ooh, this has to happen now. It's the little stripes, but then it gets better. The pockets are buttered popcorn, y'all. Like, look at that. I'm not showing this well at all. Let me fix this. Look at that. Look. Like, how could you not? How could you not buy this? So, this yarn, I saw it. I was obsessed. I immediately had a pattern idea for it. I knew. This pattern is the Bronte Sister Shawl. It is by Lindsay Fowler, who also wonderful pattern designer. She has a Bennett Sister Shawl and a Bronte Sister Shawl. If she just did more literary characters, like I would buy all these patterns. I really would. I'm a sucker for a theme, I guess. But this is the Bronte Sister Shawl. So it's a 3-color shawl. It's got lace pattern, but it alternates, which I kind of love. So it alternates between like the lace is there, and it comes over here, then back over there, back over here. So it means that this other side is stockinette, and that side is stockinette. So you get to do the lace pattern, but then you have a break. You have a break, lace. It's beautiful. I love it. It's a very straightforward triangle shawl. This is another version of it. It's a gorgeous shawl. It really is. But I've discovered I'm not a big shawl knitter. I love to wear shawls. I love the way they look. I love that they're a great way to try out patterns, especially when we're talking about a pattern that's flat versus a sock would be a way to try out a pattern in the round. But I just stall out, which is why there's 5 shawls sitting on this board, because I don't knit it. I get the yarn, I get the pattern, and then I don't knit it. Let me see. Oh, I did this. Okay. I forgot I did this. Oh boy. I took the needles out of this one. That tells you. I did put it on waste yarn, so I'm going to come back to it, but I needed the needles. I was apparently just one of the needles, didn't want to worry about the shawl, so I just took the needles and left it on waste yarn, which is why I was looking for the needles to make sure I didn't rip the needles out of the project, and there are no needles to rip out of the project. So this is all Sorella yarn and her cashmere sock. Let me grab the color, the tags. So the first color up is Mary. This is all from the Downton Abbey collection. I saw these 3 and I knew this had to happen. Okay, I don't know where I was at, but we're back. I had a visitor. So this is the Bronte Sister shawl by Lindsay Fowler. I've just started it. You can see I did all of the lace on this side, started the lace on this second side. So the 3 colorways, Sorella yarn, cashmere sock. This is Mary. And you have I Believe in People. If you look, this is such a messy cake. I'm gonna have to recake this. You can see the green and purple flecks, and then that mixes really well with Tom. Just, oh, stunning. So my great aunt is in her, I think, mid to late 80s. She is one of the most knit-worthy people I know, besides maybe my mother. She loves handmade things. She appreciates their value, and she loves getting them, and she wears them. There's a shawl I have that I know that, a shawl I made that she got, she wears it every week. So I know she will love this shawl. I know she'll love wearing it, using it. I think the cashmere will be good, and I know she's somebody who will take care of the cashmere. These muted colorways from Downton Abbey I think are perfect for her. So I think she'll love this. So I really would love to have this done for Mother's Day. Her birthday's in May, so it's like Mother's Day and her birthday are kind of in the same month. So I'd love to have it done for Mother's Day. We'll see when it gets called. I, again, don't know if this is a finish in a month pattern. I really don't. So we'll have to see how it goes. All right, moving on. That is square number 21. Square number 22 I'm pumped about. This is one of the draws for this month. I have it sitting out here because I was working on it just last night. It's in the home stretch. Like, I can taste the victory here. The first number to be scratched off the bingo card, and I'm ready. I am so ready. Oops. Y'all, I'm making a mess. There's yarn everywhere. Okay, these are the Mayflower socks by Twin Stitches Designs. And I got the Moonglow Yarn Co set. This is the first sock. Look at that. And these are my stitch markers for every 10 rounds. So I figured out where I was at the end of the chart. I think I was like at 37 rows. So that's 40, 50, 60. I think I did 70. And I just knit 2 purl 2 cuff on it. It's dark. It's dark. So I finished that. It's just waiting for its afterthought heel to be put in. And I did the chart wrong on the bottom. I did it the same as the top chart, and we're gonna leave it. It's gonna be fun. And this is where I'm at on sock number 2. I move my progress keeper up once a week. This is a Crazy Sock Lady Team Cuff Down progress keeper. I don't know if you can still get those from her or not. So I just added in the green. So it's just started on its way down. When I knit socks, I actually use a US 0 for 75-25 wool and a US 00 for 80-20. When I knit color work, I use a US 1. So what I did is I used a US 0 for the cuff. I switched to a 1 for the first round after the cuff. I did a US 1 all the way down the leg just because if the leg was a little bit loose, it wasn't going to be a huge deal. I've done a US 0 on the foot until about 5 rounds before the color work. And then I switched back to a US 1 so that it would have the elasticity for the rest of the color work chart. And then I used a US 1 and then I switched back to a US 0 here. And that seems to be my formula for getting a color work sock to fit. I don't know if that helps you or not. I'm a very loose knitter, so this has been a huge learning process because I've never had things be too tight. They've always been too loose. Too tight is a whole different ballpark, especially with socks. So that is the Mayflower socks. I think these are going to be done in the month of January that they've been called. I'm not worried about that. I think it's very possible the Cinderella socks are done this month too, just because I like to knit a round or two on my lunch break at work. I'll take like 5 or 10 minutes on my lunch break, as long as there's not like any meetings or phone calls or anything like that I need to handle. And I'll just take a couple minutes, put a round or two in on the socks. And it's amazing how quick they'll progress just by doing that. That was a really big way I got a lot of my Christmas gifts done last year, is I just took the time, had a dedicated work project, and I would just knit a round or two during my lunch break, and then I move on. Sometimes if I have about 10 minutes on a vanilla sock, I can get about 10 rounds done. So you do that, you have, 70 rounds on your leg, you could get most of that leg done in a week. It's not bad at all. So those are the Mayflower socks by Twin Stitches Designs. All right, we're on square number 23. This is the Miserina. I'm grabbing the yarn for it. I knit the Alpine Bloom last year by Caitlin Hunter, and I really, really enjoyed her pattern. It was my second color work pattern. My first was the Halibut Cowl, which I believe is also by her, and I realized that my gauge is very close to hers. So I'm excited about knitting her patterns because I feel like I can match what she does really easily. So this is Miserina by Caitlin Hunter. This is from 2020. It's an older pattern, but I love it. It's just a simple little tee. I live in a warmer climate, so it makes sense to have knitted sweaters like this because I'll get more use out of them than a lot of the bulky sweaters. But it has a nice little cable detail in the middle of the color work, which I love. I think it's just gorgeous. So mine is actually going to be whole scarn. My main color will be Marlin. And this is showing up much. Whew, let's see if I can get it to lighten up. That's close to true to color. That's probably truer to color right there. Yeah, there we go. And then the other color I believe is almond. Yes, this will be my contrast color. So all the flowers will be in this almond and the rest of the sweater will be in Marlin. Really pumped for this. I think this is going to be I think once I get through the color work chart, it'll be a quick knit because it'll just be round and round knitting. I think it'll take a good week or two of focus to get it through the color work chart, and then it will fly. It was the same with my Alpine Bloom. It took like 3 months to get that done just because I had to sit down and focus on the chart. So we'll see. We'll see how much progress I get on it this year. And that was square number 23. We have 2 more, y'all. Square number 24, if I can get it pulled. Ravelry logged me out. I had all of these queued up. This is Stardew Valley Summer, so the last of the 4 Stardew Valley seasons. I'm very curious to see which seasons these all get pulled in, if they get pulled in their respective season or if they're completely off base. We'll see. This is summer. Again, they've really captured the essence of the game. Oakwood Knits just did an awesome job with these patterns. I think this is the one of the 4 sock patterns in like 1 or 2 rows calls for 3 color work. I'm grateful it's only 1 or 2 rows. But we'll just have to see with the 3 color work. I don't know how I'm going to do that. We just got 2 colors down, so we'll see. But I'm excited to wear these. I have a really cool idea for when I finish all 4 of the Stardew Valley sock patterns. I think what I want to do is make like a swatch that goes through the full color work chart of each one and then like bind off the edges and make it really clean, like with an I-cord edge or something. And then I think it'd be really cool to frame them and have like 4 knitted swatches up on the wall, and it's like your little Stardew Valley. Especially since, socks are going to wear out. They're not going to be around forever. And the colorways that Knit Picks has, they may not be around forever either. So having that like little swatch there, I think would be fun, especially with it being such an involved pattern and such a cool statement piece. I think it'd be cute. that brings us to our last pattern. This one's ambitious to be done this year, but we'll see. We'll see. This is by Kay Jones of the Bakery Bears. This is the jelly roll blanket. I have a ton of row 1 minis. I'm not bringing them all out. When this gets pulled, I'll bring out the project and show you. I think I've put only 3 minis on this jelly roll blanket. So my goal is to put, I separate all my row 1 minis by like muted color palette versus like more neon color palette. And my idea is the neons are either going to be a blanket or like a sweater. I was thinking like a scrappy sweater where you have like, maybe even like a sea glass tee where you have all those different colors. So you could have all the neons and maybe do like a black main color or a solid white main color so it really pops. And then the muted I thought would be really good for a blanket because it's not going to really clash per se with anything. It's going to be a more subtle color palette. If you're not familiar with this pattern, this is Kay Jones, the Bakery Bears. Love this pattern. It's super simple. I'm following the Crazy Sock Lady's modifications for this. She modifies the end of her rows so that you can pick up the edges easier when you add on the next strip. Because this is a modular blanket, you knit one big strip and then you pick up the stitches and knit the next strip next to it and up and up and up. And as long as you've started that first strip, you can go ahead and work on the second strip up to where you're at on that first strip. So it's a really cool pattern. I probably will just knit one strip at a time, but I'm using her modifications for the end of the row to make it easier to pick up. And I'm also using her modification to hold fingering double. I think I went down 1 needle size from the Crazy Sock Lady just because, again, I have a loose gauge. So looking forward to that. We'll see how much I get done on it. The goal is just that all of these things get work done. So that's all 25 projects. If you hung around till the end, let me know. I know that was a lot. I'm sure with all the stops and starts, we're probably at close to an hour in video. If you hear that, there is a rooster crowing. That your ears did not deceive you. But yeah, we'll see how much I get done from here on out. The plan is, we'll have to see how my teacher schedule works. Things are going to get a little busy moving forward. Yes, that's still a rooster crowing. I better hurry because apparently he just woke up. But we'll see. We'll see how much I get done. The goal from here on out is just to do like a monthly update. If I can get a video filmed once a month, and if I can get any more filmed, I'd love to show like how I track my projects, how I calculate socks for other people, and calculate how you calculate foot sizes and like how many rows I need in it and what width of sock, all of that stuff. So if you're interested, let me know. Let me know what your knitting plans or crafting plans are for 2024, or if there's any projects you're excited to see, want to see how they come along, let me know. Again, if you stuck around, thanks for watching. And I'll put all my links below to like Ravelry, Instagram, all that if you want to follow along. Anyway, so happy knitting. Have fun. I'll see you soon. Bye.